Hello everybody and welcome back to The Legend of Donkey Kong. My name's Cody.
And I'm Fu.
And in today's episode, we're going to be dying a lot, probably to some barrels, because you can never trust barrels. They're just, they're the worst.
You got an interesting barrel challenge here. Actually, you were trying to spell Kong there, so you needed to get the K on the far left to get things started.
Look, that's an overrated spelling of Kong. I think it has a silent ong.
Okay, there you go.
It's spelled ong Kong.
I'm excited though because that's the first bonus minigame that you've actually played through, and we got to see Diddy's frustrated loss animation.
You'll be seeing that a lot.
Well, maybe if you start to actually play the bonus rooms, that'd be great.
Yeah,
and,
now I'll lose at the bonus rooms as much as I can.
No, it's kind of telling because this level represents sort of a bit of a change in design philosophy. Up until now, most of the bonus games that we've accessed have been hidden in something. You had to jump off the screen in the right point, or walk into the right wall with a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of assume that you're tired of that by now.
Yeah.
It's not that they're totally going to get rid of it. There's still going to be times where you have to walk into the wall with the right barrel, but they're going to introduce a problem-solving aspect where, say, the barrel and the wall are separated by a string of enemies that it's hard to carry the barrel through. Or in a situation like we just saw, there's going to be a bonus barrel hard to access, and you're going to have to find a way to work through the level and use resources like moving enemies to get you to the barrel.
Yeah.
So this is nice because
it's not killing me when I fall and it's resetting me at the puzzle. It's super nice. I wish it would do this every time.
That's true. This is a nice trainer puzzle. But I mean, in terms of the bonus rooms, it's nice that their design philosophies kind of changed from, I don't know what you would call it, but a sort of reward system where you were really expected to either know exactly what you were doing or try absolutely every little thing and waste your time. Which, is it has some social cachet to it. Like, I remember being a kid on the playground, in late elementary school, and these were the kind of things you talked about. Who knew the best secrets, who could cite the best game trivia.
Right, which is, I'm sure it's great when you're in the social moment, but if you're not, it just seems completely, what's the term, like, unfair, unreasonable. Like, it's just sort of like, oh, here's a secret that you couldn't have possibly known the answer to unless you buy, our guidebook, only $29.99. Or, get it from some kid on the playground who's like the dealer of Nintendo secrets. And he's like, I got some news for you. Like, look, if you look under this truck, it's near the SSN. There's going to be a Mew under there. But you're going to need to know surf and strength first.
Right, of course.
And the secrets dealer, gives you a wink and a nod, and you give them your lunch money probably. But like, when you're not in that environment, a lot of this is sort of a bit lost to the mists of time, or to game facts, which is the same thing. That was an accident, but I'm going to pretend I did that on purpose.
Yeah, no, you can take credit for that.
Yeah, it's so easy. I'm just doing tricks because I'm too good. Do I want that?
Yeah. You can risk it. That's going to be quite the... Ooh, that's close. Yeah, so we're going to see established a tradition of using kind of more classic problem-solving and puzzling skills to get some of our bonus levels now, which hopefully is going to mean that you play a few more of them.
Yeah. So, this is Funky's Flights, and we're going to use Funky's Flights to go back to a previous level and then save.
Yeah, so you have learned something. So we mentioned this before, but this is how they designed the overworld to kind of make the life system interesting. In this case, it wasn't a huge challenge. You only had to beat 2 levels before you had the ability to leave World 3 and go back and save.
Yeah.
But in World 4, it's going to be very significant that you're locked in, and that the quest to find Candy or Funky is going to be a lot more frustrating.
Yeah. And I see there's a boat in the background. I'm just having a look at this. I'm having a look at this Donkey Kong thing, where Donkey Kong has horns, I think. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but it seems like Donkey Kong has 2 just giant horns.
It's supposed to be a glacier up there of some kind, but it does definitely look like horns.
We're just living inside of a giant demonic Donkey Kong, I guess. So let's head to Forest Frenzy.
Yeah, so the whole World 3 is kind of laid out to be sort of a journey through this forest. You move through the various layers of the forest. You get the ground floor, the forest floor like this, where you have a lot of enemies and a lot of more traditional style platforming. You have the middle level of the forest that we just saw.
Gotta get that dead. It's a good thing I just saved.
Yeah. Kind of a famous aesthetic to it. That level we just saw.
Well, forests are pretty famous, yeah.
But Treetop Village specifically, which is in some kind of way shooting for the village of the Ewoks feel, that has that really nice pre-drawn background.
Actually, I think it's the Wookiees that live in tree houses.
Well, yes. I don't know if that's still true. I mean, Kashyyyk was pretty expanded universe. I don't know if that's canon anymore.
No. It's not expanded universe, it's the Star Wars Holiday Special, which is to say, disowned universe. It was canon at one point until George Lucas realized his mistake and said, no, actually, I'm going to burn every copy of this that I can find.
Yeah, probably not a terrible decision.
That was a terrible decision.
That was a terrible decision. But yeah, so you're moving back and forth between the forest floor, that middle Treetop Village style level, and then the canopy. In a couple levels, we'll see that. And this really is used to, well, first of all, to give you a hint of what style of gameplay is coming based on the world around you, because there's very clear linkages design-wise between the levels on the forest floor compared to the levels in the village compared to the levels in the canopy, but also to create that feeling that you're moving through a vibrant living world as they continue to use the same critters and the same zingers as enemies over and over again.
Right.
They could have kept all these levels looking identical to what we saw in Jungle Hijinks, for example.
Right.
But that would give you less of the feeling of exploration that they're going for here.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling exploration-y. And you can see the little animation here of Donkey Kong teetering on the edge.
Yeah, we paid a high price for these fancy pre-rendered animations. We lose the hitboxes, so we might as well enjoy them while we see them.
Yeah, and we lost Lanky Kong in the chaos, and he didn't reappear until 64. He was actually sacrificing himself for the cool graphics.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that particular piece of trivia.
It's yeah. Well, you're not a timeline theorist like me.
Well, so that's a pretty dark shot to a rather unfortunate piece of my past.
Yeah.
I've spent far too much of my life and a considerable amount of time ago, let's be fair, analyzing the Legend of Zelda story. Let's call it story analysis. It's much nicer about it.
It's like the gentleman's version of
right.
Because depending on how rich you are, like, things are different. Like, if you're poor, you're crazy, but if you're rich, you can just be eccentric, which is like crazy, except you live in a mansion.
Yeah.
You know, like, there are lots of famous scientists who were eccentric that loved to talk to pigeons and loved pigeons, for example. But they're definitely not crazy, because if they were crazy, they wouldn't have had a house. So, you know, it's like that, but for timeline theorizing. You know, ordinary people timeline theorize, but you're a story entrepreneur.
There you go, yes.
Yeah.
I participate in discourse.
You participate in discourse about the future of our time, and the past of our time, and the alternate history of our time, where things are slightly different because Link possibly died, but he didn't, because that was in a different time. Yeah, look, Zelda, it's not technically the most complicated timeline theory, but it's probably the most complicated timeline theory that has been officially endorsed by by the company that's running it. You know, like
in video games, perhaps. I mean, the cinema and written worlds, they might have some challenges, but
yeah, but like, you know, because if you consider it, like the Mario timeline, that's something you don't want to touch. Like, when was Mario a plumber in Brooklyn? And when was Mario rescuing, you know, this princess? And how does it all fit in? If Donkey Kong's grandpa was fighting Mario in the past, is he like 100 years old?
Possibly.
Or is it an alternate Mario? Is the current Mario the baby Mario from Super Mario World? Or Super Mario World 2? Yoshi's Island? Yeah. You know, these are the kinds of questions that you ask when you get deep into being really bored. Which is what a lot of people, as it turns out, are.
Welcome to the modern world.
Yeah, welcome to the modern world. Yeah.
We can also discuss situations like this, where we get the same puzzle 4 times in a row, which is you jump on a moving rope and have to navigate enemies. Now, there's a couple interesting things about this. First, on a global sense, they are once again able to use pretty stock models for this. So this is an entirely new kind of challenge.
Yeah.
Using the zingers and eventually the neckies that you've seen before. So that's cool. But more than that, it's a challenge that develops very well throughout the level. You get the stationary zingers.
Yeah.
Then you get these vertically moving zingers.
Yeah.
And you know, you learn that you have to predict their movement, but that's not too bad because they're just moving up and down. Then you get the zingers with a circular pattern, which, although it doesn't seem technically more complicated, certainly is more difficult for your eye to track. So it makes
especially when you're moving left and right and it's going in a circle. It's like that whole thing of you know, patting your head and rubbing your tummy or whatever that you ask people to do, and they actually have a really difficult time at it because it looks simple, but then you try and keep track of both at once, and bad things happen. And then come the vultures.
The last section with the neckies, and you don't really get a break between these two. It just goes right from one to the other. But the interesting thing here is that the model changes. We go from zingers to neckies. And because of that, we get this hint right away that we should be expecting a change in the movement style as it goes from the circular style to a horizontal style. Which is another interesting way to use the model differences, because we know that the zingers and the neckies don't behave the same way. And as soon as we see that visual cue, we hopefully can adjust to the change in behavior. There you go.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, some of these sections aren't patterned particularly well, and often the best strategy is just to head right to the top or right to the bottom and go with that. But there are still going to be little things that you have to dodge. You are picking up lives, though, so this is working out just fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I actually... Yeah, I've gotten a fair amount of lives. I thought I was going to run out. But I guess I've been picking them up as I went. Which is good. And I think I'm getting better at it. I'm learning some of the patterns.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's important. And presumably learning these patterns will help me later in the game. If game design is anything to go by.
Yes. Now, Donkey Kong is always about escalation. They always, every time they bring something back, they bring it back in a more complicated way. Difficulty scaled up. I believe the next major rope level we're going to see, the ropes are going to be iced, so that when you grab them, you either slide up or slide down.
Oh, that's good. I love ice levels. Everyone loves those ice levels, don't they?
You're heading into the whole ice world here, coming up real quick, so... Oh. Enjoy that.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
What is that? You can't just make them go faster. Like, what are they even running from? Alright. Donkey Kong just made a strange noise.
Yeah, he does the whole chest pounding thing.
Yeah.
Just gotta get used to that.
Okay, well that was not a good take. I tried to just stay at the top and hope that for the best. But that's alright. I still do have a couple of lives left, so
Yes.
I need to...
We don't have those 6 speed running strats.
There we go. I just want to give him time to consider his imminent demise.
I think he might have done something about it, he just seemed kind of unreactive.
Yeah, well, it's breeding, I guess. You know, they're probably from different social castes, and there's the jumpers, and then there's the standing stillers, and the walkers, and the jumper walkers. They're like at the top of the social ladder.
Yeah.
It's probably like bees. There's probably different types that, you know, are bred for different purposes, and they can do different things. That's my theory. Alright.
I think that's reasonable. Here, the bees are color-coded, but it doesn't actually mean that much. I mean, we see the yellow bees and the more orange-looking bees. And that's kind of unfortunate. It's really nice when the artists find ways to use color coding to indicate something subtle but important about the enemies.
Yeah.
If you think Super Mario World and the 4 different shell colors.
Right.
Which have specific implications for Yoshi, but more than that, also indicate whether or not the enemy is going to turn around when it reaches an edge or fall off the edge.
Yeah, well, I think Mario is actually a really good example of visual design because, like, if you look at Super Mario Maker, they created a level editor that people can use intuitively, just like without any explanation. Because most level editor stuff, most people don't do. Only hardcore people do it because it's sort of a bit of a pain for everyone involved. But Mario Maker made it so that it's fun for 5-year-olds to create their own worlds.
Right.
And they did it in a way that it's entirely possible for the 5-year-olds to understand the UI intuitively based on the color coordinating of blocks and things. And that's like super impressive because that's something that, well, obviously no one's ever done.
Okay.
What?
You were making a very good point. I want to go back to it, but I was talking about this earlier, and it's too late now. But in the way that finding bonus rooms is going to move from a more kind of know what you're doing style to a puzzle solving challenge, and that was actually a puzzle solving challenge. You need to find a way to get that barrel through the section of jumping critters without, breaking it against any of them.
Well, this seems like a good spot to finish up this video.
Cool.
We completed a couple of levels. We learned a lot about life, and we'll be continuing on to the rest of this world in a little bit. See you around.